What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. Today I want to talk to you about ProText Mobility, ticker is TXTM. I want to start by just going over what the hell is happening, where we might be going in the short term, and what we can expect coming from an investor standpoint. Before I get into any of that though, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciated. And with that, let's get right to it. So first and foremost, happy Friday to everyone. We are up right now, so 5.38%, definitely showing a nice little bump up going on. Currently, a little bit more lower volume, but generally speaking, it's only 1 hour in the trading day, but it does look like we aren't necessarily going to be close to our volume. And I think that's a little bit more of a growing trend over the last little bit. Keep in mind, we did and still do have this CE tag. So this is definitely limiting a lot of individuals buying ProText. Of course, under my impression of this, a majority of which is in the States. So Americans, unfortunately, can't buy CE ones on a lot of brokers. Some you can, potentially, I think Fidelity, but majority of which us Canadians are hopefully keeping ProText having a nice support because of that. So again, that might be a good thing and bad thing. And if you do coincide this information with what is happening on the short front, because as I always say, OTC stocks are typically targeted by shorts, and because one of which is lower interest, lower volumes and things like that, because it's fairly cheap for shorts, for instance, to just get in and out of any OTC stock. So I think right now, especially with the lower volume on ProText, shorts are starting to get back in a little bit. We did have that massive bump up once we had our advertising or the promotional tag lifted. So this is where shorts kind of just dropped off the face of the earth. Keep in mind though, you do see a little bit lower volume in general, and this does coincide with, like I said about this, the CE tag, so maybe majority of which of the shorters are American. I don't know. But keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own due diligence at the end of the day. A lot of people want to know, especially more so even myself, when it comes down to ProText actual news. Yes, it's always good to look on Yahoo, and the latest one was this about the promotional activity and so forth, and also talking on that CE tag. But majority of people like to take a look at Twitter because Dr. J, Dylan are very active on Twitter. But as of late, they just completely dropped off the face of the earth. And unfortunately, this is spooking some individuals. And it does suck, plain and simple. So this is typically what does happen. You get this kind of luxury as far as insider information. Well, I guess I should clarify, it's not insider information. You're just getting at least a little bit more transparency coming from the management team. So you get that kind of a luxury. And then unfortunately, you get some individuals that take that information and just twist it. So what I mean by that is they did submit their recent earnings, plain and simple. I've already done a video on this, but a lot of people took out of context saying that, well, you told me, or you said, at least on Twitter, that potentially we're going to have revenue in Q3. That wasn't the case. So this is where people are taking tweets out of context. And so Michelle did tweet this, and in general is 100% accurate. So plain and simple, they're taking a step back for their own security and also for ProText. So a lot of people want to know, why is Dr. J not tweeting, things like that. It's just plain and simple because of this. I do cover HCMC, another over-the-counter stock, and similar kind of action. They were in a lawsuit, and ultimately the counterparty accused HCMC of pumping because of this transparency and giving multiple updates. So same goes for this. Most likely their actual lawyers told Dr. J or whatever it might be, that calm down, you need to take a step back and don't be so transparent. Although it is very good for us as investors, and we absolutely loved it. Every time Dr. J tweeted or retweeted anything, we all got so hyped up. But although some people could take that out of context. So this is where we're at as of right now. So nothing really to worry about in my own opinion. Clearly, they're just protecting themselves and also ProText, which coming from an investor standpoint is exactly why I went. I would never want a management member to come out saying, yes, we're having Q3 revenue, Q4 revenue, being so bold about that, and then ultimately having nothing. I never want to be investing in a pump and dump. And definitely this is where people are taking, like I said, out of context. Outside of this, so I just want to talk on some actual technicals and where things are at. So it did just recently jump up. Now it's 15% up, so very positive. When it comes to that though, we are technically still in the lower percentile of the Bollinger Band. We are about to face a lot of big resistance points. So you can see the 200-day moving average is at 0.0049. So that's definitely going to be our next thing that we kind of get over, generally speaking. Still very much oversold though, and looking at stochastic, it is currently at 16. So I think just on that fact alone, we could have a nice rally, which might be as a result from today, is just this value rally potentially. Like I said, the risks involved with ProText are still potentially there, and obviously meaning the risks are that CE tag. So usually that is a little bit more of a negative flag, if you want to call it that. But aside from that though, if you do believe in the management team, definitely look at this. This has a lot of good upside potential. And as I've mentioned in the past, if based on the data and the actual analysis of some individuals, this is one of the biggest discounts that is on the whole stock exchange. Not necessarily just OTC, but absolutely everything. So definitely a very big stock that you should watch for. But number of retail investors is getting back in today. And so you can see that on the momentum indicator. So overall though, technicals are still looking a little bit more bearish, but this is because of this little bit more of a big gap that we did drop because of the CE tag and also that promotional activity. But at the end of the day, management did address this, did some PR, but again, it is what it is. Just to give you a good breakdown as far as the Fibonacci, in case you guys like that, such as myself. Right here, the pivot point is basically at 1 cent, give or take. So still a little bit more bearish. Like I already said, based on the technicals, it just looks plain and simple a little bit more bearish. So we are currently at 0.003. So we are actually well below the S3. So this is why, like I said, very much oversold. So potentially this might be our value rally that we are in. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. And if you've been buying, or at least if you wish you would be buying in case you are in the States. I personally feel once we actually do get this CE tag dropped off or kind of taken off, then the volume is just going to skyrocket and hopefully have a nice squeeze associated with that as well. But regardless of all of that, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up and subscribe is always greatly appreciated. If you do like my channel, want to support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that, appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on ProText.